Oh, and I think I'm live. I think I did it. Yay! I think I did it. First time doing a scheduled live stream, so I think it actually worked out this time. Um, that's good news. Hopefully, some people will get in here. I hope everybody can hear me okay. If, it looks like I'm live on my phone, so that is good. How is everybody doing this morning? I hope you grabbed your coffee. That way you can hang out and chill out. Man, starting this 2 hours later than normal really gave me a lot of time this morning to get some stuff done. So hopefully people will be able to come in that normally did, because I was starting at 8 and people were coming in around 9:30, and so now hopefully with me starting a little later, those people can come in whenever I'm starting. Hey Smith family, how are you doing? What is your first name again? I cannot remember it off the top of my head. I was trying to look it up. Is it Darcy maybe, or I think it starts with a D. I can't remember. I am so bad with names. Oh, look, did I say it right? That's the question. We have some stuff going on, and it is fall, so I don't know how it is in Texas over there, but we had a lot of storms this last week, and it's kind of got a little bit cooler. Carly wore pants to school, and then by the afternoon it was hot, so I guess fall is in the air. We had the official first day of fall, I guess, this week. So I couldn't really think of a theme for today, so I was like, we'll just go with the fall theme. I've been kind of lazy this morning. I got around and did all the writing, and then it was like 8:30, and I was like, wow, I have a couple hours. So I made some cinnamon rolls for the kids, and I made some little bacon and egg baskets. So still hot and dry. Dang. Well, I don't know what storm system came through here, but it rained, and it's really windy. We had some power outages and things like that, and now it's pretty cool. I mean, it's still in the 90s by the afternoon, but it's been like in the 68 in the morning, so it's been kind of chilly in the mornings. So it's starting to feel a little bit like fall, so that's kind of nice. I bred some rabbits this morning with all my extra time, and hopefully they'll take. I have some new babies that were born this week, so pretty exciting. It's that time of the year. I gave the rabbits a break this summer, and I bred where I had babies in June, but then I let them have July and August off, and then I just had some born, and then I'm breeding for some more. So we got up at 4, headed to South Texas. Wow, you're going to get some heifers. How many are you going to get, and what kind are you going to get? Not that I know anything about cows, but that's exciting. What is it, baby? I know, the TV's not working. I'm sorry. Our sound went out on the TV, and I don't know what's wrong with it. I've tried everything. I don't know. So he's not very happy about that. Did you drop your drink? Here, just a second. So he can't have his. I have Mickey Mouse playing, but it's no sound. So you're getting 3. Okay. I don't know anything about cows. Never raised them. Honestly, I'm scared of cows. I think my husband thinks I'm silly. He always has cows, but what are you doing, son? You throw your bottle over again. We have a little baby gate. Like, I'm in the kitchen, and then the living room's right there where I can see it, and we have a baby gate, and he threw his bottle over the baby gate. He's trying to get it. Let me grab it. Silly baby. Here, don't throw it over. Here. Oh, you got a bite? You want a cinnamon roll? Look, we got our matching PJs on. This says Little Bear. He wants a cinnamon roll. Yeah, I haven't even got out of that. Okay. We actually have a whole family set. My husband has one, and then my daughter has one. I got them for Christmas last year. So, but this was actually an accident. I didn't realize. I had put these on him, and then I got dressed. So, and then we haven't got dressed for the day because we've been lazing around the house. We're not going to do anything. Anyways, yes, thank you. I thought they were pretty cute. So how is everybody doing? I guess you're on the road, Darcy. I am just chilling. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, Greenfield Farm, Bridge Farm. What is your name again? I keep forgetting. I'm trying my very best to learn everybody's name, and I need to write it down, I guess. But how are you doing? I hope you're having a good morning. We're just hanging out, eating a little breakfast, and yep, I knew that, Teresa. Okay. I think I've asked you that every time. I'm so sorry. Just talking about how it's cooling off in Arkansas. I'm not sure if it's got any cooler where you're at. We've actually had, where we've had to wear jeans, or Carly had to wear jeans at school. Yes, there's just so many people, and it's hard for me to remember everybody's name. I know your face and your channel name, but it's hard to remember first names and things like that. But anyways, do you have any big plans for this weekend? I don't know if we're trying to get some stuff done in the rabbit tree to get it ready for winter. We've got to get some winter prep done. I've got some of the rabbits bred this morning. I'm going to try to do some more this evening. And pretty much just going to hang out today around the house, not do anything. Just have a good Saturday off. I do have to bag up some rabbit manure. I have a guy that wants to buy 10 bags. And I talked to him last week. He's just a friend of the family. And he wants 10 bags. I only have like 3 or 4 bagged up, so I'm going to have to get out there and do that today so I can get that to him. And he said, depending on how much hay is in it, because I just like scoop from underneath the rabbit cages, he may get more. So, yay. So you're sitting with your mom. She can't be left alone anymore. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that. That's not good. So you've got cell service. That's okay. If you're driving, I know how that is. Yeah, my grandpa isn't doing very good either. He had a stroke Monday, I guess. He had one earlier in the month too. But he's on hospice now. We're just doing comfort care for him. And my dad and aunt are sitting with him at the hospital. I took the kids up, and they got to see him. But we may go up again today and visit with the family. So he's not doing very good. I don't know. He probably only has a little bit left. But that is part of it. Yep. See, and the rabbit poop is like the best for your garden. Even if you don't sell it. I didn't sell it the first year because I used it for my garden. And I just that's what I need to do today too, is go out and clean out all of the garden beds with all the dead tomato plants that I've just kind of let go. And then scoop some of that rabbit manure in there, and just all winter long I just scoop it in the raised beds, and then as it rains it kind of packs it down, and then it's some really rich soil by spring. And then I have I got to take some up to the other garden as well, and then I got to sell some because I've got a lot of rabbit poop that I need to get rid of. So yeah, you need to have him build you some cages. And I would definitely recommend do as little wood as possible. if you're gonna do them, I would do all wire cages and then build maybe like a small like lean-to shed or something, just where it has like the legs and a roof, and then you somehow attach the cages so they're hanging from that, because you do not want wood. It's not the easiest to keep clean. We have ours that we built that are just hanging under our like little lean-to where my husband used to park his boat. Those are so easy to take care of, and it's like they don't stink. The rabbit poop and stuff doesn't build up on the cages. And then I got some hutches for really, really cheap, and they're in good condition. But right where like the wood is, you have this to eat. You want more icing? So he ate the icing off, and he wants more. But right there where like they built it where it's like a wood frame, and they put the wire over the wood. It's just it's like impossible to clean. You want more? Go get your stuff then. But yeah, so I would not recommend, if you're gonna build like, you could just do a makeshift like shed or something, or if you have a lean-to, you could put them under. Ours, my husband reinforced them. He used like metal fence post, and he welded like a lip on there, so it's a metal fence post, and then he did like a lip that's, I think he welded on there. It's like maybe an inch and a half, and so we put the cages on that. Sounds like the show came back on. But yeah, so I don't know if he can weld or not, but if you build it strong enough, you could actually have it just let me go turn the Mickey down just in case, because I don't want YouTube going crazy on me. I see you got more. Sorry, I didn't want them to, sometimes YouTube's weird when you have like Mickey Mouse playing in the background. I got like ding for that once. I see you got more. But yeah, I will, but I would do like the fence post if you want it extra secure with then like a little lip welded on there. You can do that. And then you can do like the metal carports. Like if you have a metal carport already, one of my friends, that's what she does. She'll just find one that someone's selling for really, really cheap for whatever reason. And she just attached these like metal pipes through the top of the metal carport. And then she attached her like wire, like chain, I guess, to it. And it's hanging down, and then it attaches through the cages. And so it's all like inside that little metal carport. And I really like that. If we get some more cages out of the hutches, because they're starting to like rot and stuff like that at the base, and they're starting, like the rabbits chew on the wood and things like that. I would like to get one of those metal carports. That, or my husband's going to just build me a small like kind of lean-to thing where he's going to have the 4-post, and then just build a roof, like a metal roof over it, and then we'll attach the cages and hang them. And so it's just, the wood is more for the stand, but you don't have the rabbits on wood, because that's just nasty to clean. It's not a good situation. Hey, K&A Family Homestead, how are you? We're just talking about rabbit cages and what I recommend versus what I have experienced. And definitely all wire is the best, in my opinion. Easiest to clean. Don't have to worry about the wood getting all nasty. But anyways. But yeah, and we're talking about fall. I don't know where you're living, but down here in Arkansas, it's starting to get cooler in the mornings. It had been in the 60s in the mornings, but then it's still up at 90 in the 90s in the evenings. So it's still getting hot. It's that weird time. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, I remember this time of the year growing up. You were freezing in the morning. You would wear like pants and a jacket, and then by lunchtime, you were wishing you had shorts. So I try to send Carly with like capris and a jacket. That way she can take it off. Yeah, I mean, the wood looks nice. And some of those hutches are super pretty, but I would definitely go all wire. And then if you can't like hang them for whatever reason because you're afraid they're too heavy, if you do like a really long like cage or whatever, I would do the fence post as your legs instead of doing wood fence, like wood post. Also, the life on it will be a lot longer because the wood will rot, where the metal will rust a little bit, but that's not that big a deal. But yeah, I have a video I think that talks about that more in detail about why I like it. Also, cleaning it is super easy. Like the all wire cages, you can take the rabbits out and like pressure wash them if you have that, or I just use my water hose with the like attachment. And then if they get really, really furry, I've never like lots of fur inside there when they're molting in the spring. I've seen people take like those torches and like burn the fur off, and it doesn't affect the metal. So yeah, galvanized. The cages won't rust, but I was saying if you bought like fence post, sometimes the fence post will start rusting, like where they're urinating on it, if that makes sense. But maybe I don't know what kind of. We just had these fence posts that were laying out in my dad's yard, so they were already kind of rusty, being in the weather. They're like super, super old. But yeah, I know like normally fence posts don't rust because I don't know, these are just some really, really old fence posts that have been just laying out in the weather for who knows how long. So they're kind of rusty, but it's not that bad. If you got the new ones that were like powder coated or whatever, I don't think you'd have that issue. So, but yeah, the cages, I would definitely recommend going for the more expensive wire up front. The wire cages that we've got, we did that, but we got some of our original ones from Tractor Supply, and I'm guessing it was the lower gauge of the metal because the cage floors are starting to rust out, and so we're having to replace those cage floors. But they were cheap Tractor Supply cages. I mean, I think we spent maybe $15 or $20 per cage, so they're not the best. They were like painted, like power painted or whatever, and like the rabbits kind of chewed on the wire part and chewed it off, and then it started rusting. So we've got to eventually replace those cages all together. But for now, it's what we have for like our little babies when we're growing them out. But yeah, we have quite a few different cages out there. I'd like to get them all to the ones like my husband built because they're super nice and they've held up really, really well. We've had them just as long as the Tractor Supply cages, and they look brand new. The only thing I've had to do is like in one spot when he made them, whenever he was J clipping them, he's like there was a little bit of a spot, and so I had to go in and like add a J clip. So yeah, I mean, sometimes you never know. Like when we first started with rabbits, I didn't know anything about rabbits, and like the cages we got from Tractor Supply were not really big enough for the rabbits we're raising. They're more for like a mini breed, but even the people at Tractor Supply don't know, and so they're like, yeah, those will work, and so that's all that they had, and my husband hadn't thought about building it. We were just getting them and thought, hey, these are cheap. Well, they're cheap for a reason. So anyways, but we'll replace them, and hopefully we have 4 of those smaller cages. I'd like to rebuild them and have 4 cages, but make them a little deeper than they are because they're pretty shallow. They're good on their width, but not deep enough for the rabbits. And I'd like to also do a built-in nest box, maybe. That way I don't have to worry about buying more nest box. And one of my friends has those in hers, and she really likes it, and it's super easy to clean. She'll put like cardboard on, like zip tie it to the outside of where the nest box is, especially in the winter, and then she'll put it the shavings and the hay in there, and then after you're done, you just throw it all away. So it's pretty nice. But right now we just have wooden nest boxes, and they're kind of hard to keep clean, and the rabbits chew on them. So they're going to need to be replaced. And then we also have our hutches that we bought had built-in nest boxes, and those are almost impossible to keep clean because it's attached to a hutch, and so you just have to spray it out and spray bleach in there and get it as clean as you can. But it's kind of nasty. I don't know. In my opinion, I like to be really clean. But you can also get the metal nest boxes instead, but we just didn't have any of those at our local Tractor Supply, and I didn't know you could buy, like, I wasn't sure what to buy online or what size, so that's what we have. But yeah, I know there's all kinds of different stuff you can use for rabbits, and it's really what's best for you. What is my son doing? Oh, he's over there playing. Yeah, I need to work on my series that I'm doing. I actually videoed a little bit this morning. I haven't made a video probably in a month. I've been really busy with work. I've gone out and videoed a little bit, but I haven't edited anything. So I need to get on there and finish that Rabbit 101 series on what all I need to do, or like what all you need when you start and things like that. But I don't know. I started that and I was doing good, one video a week, and then I quit. So I need to get back on that. So, but yeah, if you have any questions about rabbits too, you can always send me a little message. I'll help you out any way I can. And that's how I come up with some of my videos is like customers that buy rabbits from me ask me questions. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. And so I'll make a video about it. But I don't know. I've kind of ran out of ideas besides like going back to my old, breed a rabbit. Here's the babies, which I do need to do a rabbit baby update. I have a red mama that had 5 babies, and I had a blue mama that had 4 babies, and that the blue mama passed. I don't know what happened. She got out somehow. I do not know how she got out. Baby, you're super cute. I don't know if the nest box just has a lid on hers that opens up, and I don't know how she would open that. It's pretty heavy. I don't know how she got out. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if our neighbor did it because they're just evil. But she got out and I guess got killed or died trying to get out or whatever, and so I had to move her 4 babies over to the red mama's 5 babies. But she has been taking care of them for 3 days, so they're all fat. They're all looking like they're getting fed. She accepted them, so I'm super happy because she's a first-time mama, and I was a little bit nervous about, giving a first-time mom 9 babies, because she had her 5 plus fostering 4. But yeah, she did pretty good. So let's read this. I watched a lot of the videos, but don't retain it because I knew I wasn't getting them anytime soon. If you need some extra convincing, maybe I'll make a video on why you should have rabbits on the homestead. You can make him watch that. I'll give the top reasons. You could also have him watch Living Traditions. They have a comparison between rabbit and chicken and how much meat is produced. So it's actually not a bad video. Okay, so I have a question. What do you do when your doe does not want to perform her motherly instincts? So are you meaning feeding the babies, or are you meaning she doesn't have them in the nest box? Be a little bit more specific. Is she, did she eat her babies? That could be a lot of different things. Is she a first-time mom, or has she had multiple litters? Oh, everything. Okay. So a lot of times, first-time moms will, especially depending on when you breed them. So if you wait to breed a doe when she's closer to her senior age, like 8, 9, 10 months old, then sometimes you do better. They're just a little bit more mature. If you breed them early, because I breed some of mine sometimes at 6 months old, if they hit the appropriate weight for a New Zealand would be close to 9 pounds, like 9.5 pounds. Sometimes they're just not mature enough to know what their instincts are. Like my red doe, she was born in December. This was her first time to have babies, and she had them in the nest box, but she didn't pull any fur. Thankfully, it was like 90 degrees outside, and so the babies were fine. If that had been in the winter or a cooler time of the year, then the babies would have died because they have no fur when they're born. So what you can do if she does that is, if depending on how well you can handle her, I just got her out of the cage and I just pulled a little bit of her fur out of her dewlap, and then like she's molting a little bit too because it's that time of the year. So I just brushed her really good, and so I brushed her and then I pulled a little bit of fur and put it on top of the babies, just to give them a little bit of fur. Now, the next day, she pulled all kinds of fur, and it was all in the cage, but still not in the nest box. So I just gathered all that fur up and put on top. That's very common for the first-time mom to do that. It's very common for a first-time mom not to have them in the nest box and just have them on the cage floor. That's very common. That's why a lot of people say the first-time breeding is just like a wash, or it's just a practice. It gets the mamas to knowing what to do. A lot of times they lose that first litter. Luckily, I haven't had that happen to me yet. But again, I've only been doing this for a few years, so I'm sure it will happen eventually. But I mean, I've been really lucky. But yeah, if they don't pull any fur, you can just try to brush them or pull some of the fur out around like their dewlap area, which is right under their chin, or in their abdomen. Pull some of that fur out and just put it on top of the babies. Also, if you will save fur, so like if they're molting and you brush them out, you can save their fur and keep it like in a Ziploc bag, and then if she doesn't pull fur, you can put her own fur on top of the babies. Now, people I've seen online, and I've talked to people that will put any fur on there, dog fur, like dog hair that they brush out, fur from another rabbit. Say a lot of times you'll breed like at the same time, and so one rabbit pulls lots of fur and the other one doesn't pull any. You can take the rabbit's fur from one and put it on the other. I have never done that, so I don't know if that actually works. I would be afraid that she would smell the other mama's like scent and maybe not take care of her babies. So I would personally just try to use that mama's like fur, just because like rabbit fur comes out really easy. You can just like grab a little pinch and just pull it out. It doesn't hurt them. And I don't know if I would use dog fur either, because rabbits are prey animals and a dog is a predator to them. I've seen people use dryer lint also. I don't know if I would do that either. I guess if push comes to shove, I would just try to pull some from that rabbit. But I guess if you can't handle them, that's why it's important that you handle your rabbits and that they're calm down. And that's why they're easy to handle. Like our first rabbits that we got were wild. He's playing with a dinosaur, sorry. And like one of the four, like the buck was easy to handle, and one of the does was pretty easy to handle. The other two does were not really that easy to handle. And so I got rid of them for that reason. If I have a doe that's mean or aggressive, and that I have handled from a baby up, I get rid of it, because I think that's genetically just a bad line. I don't know if it's true or not, but I just think that, like, if you have a calm rabbit, they're going to have calm babies. And if you have an aggressive rabbit, they're going to have aggressive babies, no matter how much you handle them. Because, like, Rainbow Dash, my red doe that I have lots of videos on, she is the most calm rabbit. She was a calm when I got her. I got her when she was like 6 months old. Super calm. All of her babies are super calm. I don't even handle them that much, but I can get them out and take them to a show. They do what they're supposed to do. One of my other does is more aggressive, and it doesn't matter how much I handle their babies. Like, I will get them out almost daily and handle them, and they're still aggressive. Now, they don't bite me or, like, try to attack me like their mother does, but they'll just grunt at me, and, like, they don't want to pose. They don't want to come out of their cage. They're not mean, but they just run around the cage when you try to get them out, and they'll stomp at you. So I think it's probably genetic, because I've handled like that doe since she was a baby. My daughter picked it out, and literally from day one, Carly carried that thing around with her, and it's still kind of cage aggressive, you could say. So I think a lot of that has to do with genetics on if they're going to be like calm or not. Because like Luna, my broken blue doe, I literally got her because she's not showable. Put her in a cage. You know, I'll talk to her and pet her once a week maybe, and she is the most calm and loving rabbit in the world. I've literally done nothing with her because she was just going to be a broad doe, and so I didn't really work with her on showmanship and things like that. But she is the doe, if I'm trying to teach a new youth like how to do showmanship, I take her, because she'll just lay there, she'll do anything and everything, but I literally not messed with her. So hey, Pete's little homestead, how are you doing? What do you want to do, baby? Well, we'll ride the broom later today, okay? All right. But yeah, so I definitely think part of that temperament is genetic or bred into them. Okay, go play with your broom. But that's just part of it, I guess. I'm still learning. I mean, I'm no expert by any means. I'm just trying to share what I have learned with the rabbits. Like I said, like breeding them, you know, I thought breeding would be the most easiest. You know, they say, oh, breeding like bunnies or breeding like rabbits. It's supposed to be super easy, right? That is definitely not the case. Now, there are some times that when I'm trying to like video for YouTube on like how to breed rabbits and things like that, I can't even get the camera on fast enough, and they're done. And then there's other times it's like I'm sitting there for 30 minutes waiting on these the rabbits to breed, because they're not in the mood, I guess. So I've learned a lot about that. I've also learned, you know, it's just different. Hey, Fishing with Phil, how are you doing? Hey, I also learned, like, when we first got rabbits too, just because the buck has mounted the doe and is, you know, doing his thing, that doesn't mean they're bred. I didn't know what they should do, but like if they do not sneeze and like kick their feet back and fall off of that doe is not bred. And whenever I first got rabbits, it took me a month and a half to figure that out, because I put the bucks in there. I was like, oh, look, they're doing, I guess, what they're supposed to do. I took the does out. 30 days later, no babies. I went to the agri teacher, and he didn't really know anything about it. So I went to the music teacher. She actually has rabbits. And she was like, yeah, go watch a YouTube video about it. And I did. I was like, oh, my goodness. Okay. For one, it's funny. For two, I was like, mine weren't doing that. And so I finally got him in there, and he would try, and then the doe wasn't lifting. And I was like, what does lifting even mean? And so it took me a while to figure it out. But once I figured out what it looks like when they're breeding, then then we were good and we had babies. Hey, sister. Have you even brushed your hair this morning?
Maybe.
I don't think you have. But yeah, it can get frustrating. Like, I have one doe. Don't touch the table. Don't make it, like, shake. One white doe. She has great litters. They're big.
Mommy,
she takes care of them.
my hair getting darker?
No, your hair's still blonde. It looks good. She is the hardest doe to breed. She's been the hardest doe to breed since I've got her. I got her when she was older. I think she was probably maybe close to 2 years old when I got her. Had her about a year, so she's probably getting up there in age. But I want to have the white New Zealand, so I'm trying. Don't smack your gun, that's gross. So I'm trying to breed maybe some of her sons back to her to get the whites, but I cannot get her to breed. It is like I almost have to assist in getting her bred, and it's just frustrating. As soon as I can get
you go, flies.
Maybe one more litter out of her, I'm going to try again today. Otherwise, I'm just going to give up on that, and then I guess I'll just breed maybe her. I have a daughter and a son, so I may breed them together to try to get a white. But yeah. Yeah, 3 fall-offs, and it's guaranteed. Now, some of my does, I'll do 2, because if I do 3, they have huge litters. Like, I have one doe, I'll let her have 1, maybe 2, if I can't get because my red buck is very good at his job. If I do 3, she had 15 babies, and then she had 18 babies. When I did 2, I think she had 10 babies. And so that's just a lot of babies for a mama to do. So depending on the doe. Now I have another one. I breed her 3 times, and she has about 5 or 6 babies. So I don't know. Now I do have a friend, PJ. She has a YouTube channel, Grace Hollow. Definitely check her out. She is like the rabbit guru. I'm learning from her. Stop moving. She has been experimenting with trying to breed like 2 bucks to a doe, and if like she has a doe that is Carlin, that's a blue doe, okay, and so like she has New Zealand's also. She has blues and blacks, and she has a blue doe, and she has a blue buck, and then she has a black buck that she knows for a fact is not a carrier of the dilute to make the blue. So she's trying to breed both of the bucks, the blue buck and the black buck, to the blue doe in hopes that she'll get half the litter blue, half the litter black. Now, she has tried this with multiple does and the bucks, and she says, this is her theory, that the first shot is all that matters. Because if she breeds the blue buck to the blue doe first, she gets a full blue litter. And she knows for a fact that this black buck that she's breeding does not carry the dilute, because she can breed the black buck to the blue doe, and she'll get a full black litter, like if she breeds him first, a full black litter. And she's test bred him with others. And one of my other friends is trying the same concept with Charlie, with a Charlie rabbit. So what that means is like there's the broken pattern where there's the color and then white. And so she'll take a solid doe, and she has a Charlie buck, and then she'll take a solid buck, and she tries to double breed. And so if you breed a Charlie to a solid, it should be all broken, because Charlie, they have the genetics for only broken can be produced if you breed a Charlie to a solid. And if you breed 2 solids, you can only get solid babies. So she'll breed the Charlie and the solid in hopes to get half a litter that's broken and half the litter that's solid, and then you know which sire is which by this double breeding. She tried this. She hasn't had babies yet, so we'll see what happens with that. But PJ from Grace Hollow, and thank you, Teresa, for linking her channel. PJ swears that it's the first shot, and that's all that matters, because she will breed like the buck, 1 fall off, take him out, take the doe out, take the doe to the next buck, 1 fall off, and she'll get whatever color the first buck was. So she swears the first shot is all that matters. Now you see people all the time saying 3 fall-offs and you're golden, but PJ swears by the first shot's all that matters. Because she's tried this for I think over a year and a half or 2 years with 9 different rabbits. I think that's right what she said. I wish she would jump on here. I know she's at a show. She's probably busy. But it's not just like a one-time try. She's tried this with 9 different rabbits, trying to do the double breeding. That way she'll have half the litter sired by one and half sired by a second buck.
I'm mad. Yeah,
and she hasn't had no luck with it. Now, there are people in the rabbit world that swear by it, that swear you can double breed a buck, and if you do it based on like the color or broken versus solid, you can tell which ones are which. That way you can keep the pedigree clean, and there's no question about it. But PJ swears she's tried this for 2 years with like 9 different breedings. That first shot is all that matters. So, I don't know. I don't have a Charlie buck to try it on. I don't have the ability to test that theory. So, I don't know. Sell or meat. Okay, so I raise the New Zealand's.
Mommy, did you see that, Mama?
And the main purpose is for meat, for us to eat. Then secondary is for my daughter to show. And so we've got into the show quality, pedigreed, red New Zealands, and now blue New Zealands for my daughter to be able to show them. But our main purpose, the reason we got them to begin with, was for meat. And then the fertilizer, obviously, is just a nice byproduct. But yeah, the whole reason we even got rabbits was to buy them, to raise them to eat. It's actually a funny story. While we even got rabbits, my husband ran over a wild rabbit den a few years ago, and we tried to save one of the babies, and that didn't go so good. And so Carly was upset about Lightning. We had Lightning for about a week. He was super cute and tame, and then he passed.
Don't bite me.
That was his name. The very first rabbit we had. Very first wild rabbit. I don't know. You were little. You may not remember it. But after that one died.
I was 3 years old like that.
Yeah, you were tiny. My husband said, what if we got into rabbits for meat? And then Carly will always have the baby rabbits to play with. And we'll raise them up. And then we can try to sell some to help pay for the feed. And then we'll eat the others. And we just looked at how much. We haven't bought chicken.
You mean eat the bad ones?
I don't know. We haven't bought chicken for a long time. So we will raise the rabbit meat and we'll eat that instead of buying chicken meat. But yeah, since we raise for show, any of them that are not show quality, or say they're not the right color for the standard for New Zealand's. We eat those. If they're mean, we eat them. And then, so mainly we keep the ones that are the best quality for New Zealand for showing, and then any of them that are not considered like standard or the right color, or we can't sell it, then we eat them. So, we've ate some good rabbits. Stop, Carly. They just were maybe growing a little slower. Carly, do you want to go in your room? Okay.
No, and you didn't even let me on to talk with Papa Randy.
Well, we can call him back. But if they don't grow fast enough or things like that, then we eat them. So I have a selection process. I weigh them multiple times, and if they're not growing at the right rate that I would want them. Okay, what did we talk about last week? You want to be on the live stream? You got to act right, okay?
Okay.
Okay, go to the bathroom. But yeah, I have like a list of what they have to do to stay as a breeder. And then any of them that are show quality, if I don't have room to keep them, like if I have, right now I have 4 really nice bucks. And so I can't keep 4 bucks. I'm going to keep 1. So the other 3, Carly is showing them, but after October or November, when show season is kind of wrapping up, I will sell those. And so then people will be able to get a pretty good quality rabbit. Even if they don't want to show it, they'll have a good quality rabbit for raising just for meat. So they're a really good multi-purpose animal. But I have learned, like, if you spend the money up front for the rabbit, you will save money in the long run. Because our very first rabbits we got were really cheap. They were $10 each. We just went to a flea market and got them. And their babies took forever to grow out to get to 5 pounds. And that's the fryer weight that you want. It's a perfect weight for a meal. If you're frying it, they won't be tough. And New Zealand should be at that 5 pounds between 8 and 10 weeks. And ours were like 14 to 16 weeks. So it was like an extra whole month and a half that we were having to feed them. And when you have 30 grow outs that are going through a bag of feed every couple of days. Yes, baby.
No pair of pants on, take the kids to mom's house.
Yeah.
They said the quicker the better. But you're gonna leave your car there, you're gonna drive mom's truck back.
Okay.
And then we're gonna swap them back.
Okay. I thought she was gonna come here and pick them up. Okay, I'll go get them. That's fine. Let me finish up. I'm on my mom. Okay. But yeah, so we raise them for me. Anyways, I'm gonna have to jump off though quicker than normal. I've got to take the kids to Nina's house. I think they're going to the pumpkin patch maybe or something. I'm not sure. But anyways, if you have any rabbit questions, just leave them to me in a comment in one of my videos, and I will try to answer them. And hopefully next week I'll be on again at 10. I normally go for about an hour, so sorry I have to jump off early today. I appreciate all of you guys coming and chilling out with me, and hopefully I can talk more about rabbits next week. If y'all have any questions, let me know, and that can be the topic for next week. Either one. Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it, and y'all have a great morning. Bye.